Hey there again, comic book fans.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Travis. And this is the second half of the
Monster Comic Reviews.
Yes.
Week
2 of November. I'm sure there's an official date. Maybe I'll flash it on the bottom of the screen. But I have problems keeping track of the dates and what we're talking about. Anyway, this is the second half of our week of comics. And we're going to start out by talking about Frankenstein, Agent of Shade number 3.
I like this comic.
What do you like about it?
I still love that Father Time is a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
That amuses me. I think it's cool that we're still finding stuff out about Frankenstein's past with his relationship with his wife and the other members, like the mummy and his big Nova.
Uber power, whatever it
Yeah.
was, where he just pasted all the monsters that were on an entire continent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so of course they're stuck on a monster planet right now, whacking these monsters, and they have to have all the monsters killed by, 8 hours or 3 hours or something like that. Because they don't have them all done, they're going to go and popping through this portal, and the monsters are going to take over Earth. I don't know. I mean, I love the characters that are in this book as a whole. I like Frankenstein, I like Frankenstein's wife. Father Time being a little girl is hilarious. I love them using Ray Palmer in here. I like the idea of the Agents of Shade, their base, how that all works and whatnot. But I don't know that this, for me, I don't know that this comic is actually delivering the story that I want to read. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the art. It seems like a big mess. I don't know. I wanted something out of this, and I'm just not getting it. And I don't know if I can put my finger exactly on what it is that I want. I know a lot of people are liking it. You really like the comic. You think it's a fun comic and whatnot. I wanted it to be a little more than fun, I guess. I wanted there to be some depth, and I don't feel like there's any depth there. To me right now, it doesn't feel like there's any depth to any of these characters. They're fun ideas, and amusing and stuff, but there's not a lot. To me, there's not a lot of depth in them. But I'll probably keep picking it up for a while.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the giant spider mountain.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah. Well, there's some fun things in here. As far as monster bashing and whatnot goes, it's amusing.
I like Frankenstein's wife. She's
cool.
blast.
She's cool. I like her, but I've always liked her. I don't know. To me, it doesn't feel like there's much plot to this. And it surprises me, being written by Jeff Lemire, who writes Animal Man, that there wouldn't be more to this. I mean, I know it's a different book and whatnot. I'm just wanting more for me. Whereas you're okay with this being a big monster bashing book. Yeah. Which is funny, because some of those other books, you complain about them just being people beating other people up. Okay. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I know.
So what would you rank this as?
I give it a solid 3.
Yeah, and see, for me, it's a 2. I don't hate anything in it, but it's not doing anything for me either. Anyway. Okay.
Next we have Huntress, issue 2.
Of course, I like this book, if nothing else, just because it's Huntress. I'm a huge Huntress fan. It's hard for me to go wrong with Helena, Huntress. There's nothing exceptionally special about this storyline, per se. She's off stopping some gun running. In the process of stopping gun running, she also finds out they're, of course, trafficking in humans at the same time. So she's taken her personal mission to destroy this guy and his smuggling of these women and guns. There's some fun fight scenes in there. I mean, I get a kick out of watching Huntress, knee somebody in the head with a flying knee. That's awesome.
There's nothing like watching Huntress pin people to floors.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much a straightforward superhero book. I mean, I enjoy it. The art, I think, is great. The art inside is fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's doing great. I mean, there's some things I question about in it, like, where she's talking with the reporters and whatnot, and they're talking about this leather-clad lady that's kind of showed up, that's making a mess of everything and whatnot. They can't put those two and two together?
No, apparently not.
Okay. Yeah, especially when she like throws in the first issue, she throws like the letter opener and sticks it. I don't know. I'm just thinking, oh, how do they not know that she's not the same?
Not figured that out.
I mean, but whatever. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be an interesting story. I'm curious to see where it goes. If it's gonna stay this straightforward. I'm just happy that they've introduced her into the new DC universe. The character's out there now, so I don't have to sweat. Oh man, are they just gonna mothball her for who knows how long? So how soon can I see her in my other comics that I like and whatnot?
Yeah.
Or how soon could she just have her own comic? Get somebody besides Levitt's writing it, who I don't dislike in this, but it's a straightforward thing. Give us something that we haven't seen before to get everybody excited about it. That's what I'm hoping for. What you think?
I liked it. As said, I give it a 3 out of 5. It's a solid, straightforward superhero comic.
Yep, that's what I give it too. I give it a 3. Give it something. If there's some surprise comes up somewhere down the road, then of course that'll go up, and I'll be pleasantly surprised. I feel like we can kind of see where this is going, but I'm still really enjoying it because, like I said, I really enjoy the character. They're not doing anything wrong with it. It's not poorly written. It's not uninteresting or anything, but it is pretty straightforward. Anyway, last up we're going to talk about a non-DC title, Marvel's The Punisher, number 5. I started picking this book up because Greg Rucka is writing it. I am not a Punisher fan. I could care less about Frank Castle as a whole. I've never been anything I've really been interested in. If he shows up in a comic I'm reading, fine, whatever. But I mean, he's just a guy with guns that shoots the crap out of stuff. But I love the way that Greg Rucka is writing this. He writes it pretty much from everybody's perspective that is around the Punisher and is affected by the Punisher without writing the Punisher. This issue in particular, he writes a little more of the Punisher. We get a little more of him from his perspective and whatnot. But yeah, I just really love the way this thing is written. The fact it's written through a couple detectives. One of those detectives is basically on the take with Punisher. The two of them provide each other information and whatnot. One guy doesn't seem to dislike, the other detective doesn't seem to dislike the Punisher, but at the same time, the Punisher's breaking the law and he has to be brought in just like everybody else. There's the female reporter who is trying to make a name for herself. She wants to actually be a serious reporter, taken seriously. They put her in front of the camera to look pretty, and so she's fighting against that by getting a haircut and all this different stuff and whatnot, but she's gotten herself involved with the Punisher. There's our first victim from when this whole thing first started out. She hasn't actually interacted with the Punisher yet, but they keep talking about that character also. This is kind of a Thanksgiving-y kind of an issue. Punisher's been seriously messed up by some new version of the Vulture. In the last issue, 3 months have passed by, and he's still messed up. I love that. I mean, because man, he got tore up and fell from God knows how far. So I think it's cool that we've 3 months time has gone by, and he's still kind of lying low. Well, he does some work obviously because these people get shot up and everybody assumes it's him, but he's still messed up. I mean, because you think he's a normal guy. Come on, he got dropped 3 or 4 stories. He's got one of his eyes gouged, if not completely poked out. He's had some horrible damage done to him. He's not just going to suddenly be all better.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Doesn't work like that.
And his interaction with the kid he runs into is pretty good stuff too.
Yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised with this comic because I went into it reading, well, how can you get a good story with somebody who pretty much just shoots people?
Right.
And I was really surprised, but I like this comic a lot, but I guess I should expect that much from Rucka, so.
Yeah. Very, very happy with this. Personally, I was crushed to see him leave DC, and then he was going to do his own thing and whatnot. And that, I don't know, that's not completely panning out for him right now or whatever. And so he's doing some Marvel stuff, and that's fine too. I heard he was going to do the Punisher thing. I'm like, oh man, I know the guy can do crime drama type stuff. So we'll see what happens. And like I said, there hasn't been a single issue of this that I've read and gone, oh man, this has gone to being just the meathead guy shooting the crap out of stuff. But he understands that, I think, from some of the other interviews I've read and watched of his, that he understands that it can't just be that. So far, this is great. I have to say, if I'm not super excited still by the actual character, the Punisher. I mean, they're showing us some interesting things and whatnot. I mean, I'd have to say that if he gets off the book, I can't imagine I'm going to pick it up, with somebody else. Just because I don't think there's a lot you could personally say about the Punisher himself. But Greg has found a way to do that by using the other characters around him to give us some other stuff, to tell us some other story, and some other, this is how it impacts. He's the force that's there. He's the force that's in the comic, but how does that impact everybody else? And that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, I give this a solid 4.
Yep, I give it a 4 too. Great book, great art, and just really, really interesting. Really, really interesting as far as characters go, and building character and whatnot. So, good job. Anyway, that's it for this week. I guess we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
You too.